beautiful thing right now.
Rise and shine, it's a beautiful day. I'm alright.
About a third of the building has been blown away.
This is the bridge to white lights.
Our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts.
And at that point, we were taken for another round of questioning, this time related to our allegedly being members of Mossad.
It's crazy evil.
Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the No Way Jose podcast. This is the Morning Dump. I am your host, Jose Galison. It's June 25th, Wednesday morning. We have some stuff to go through. A little less crazy than yesterday, but we'll get through it. We'll be able to reprocess the craziness of the last 48 hours or so. What's up, people? See y'all in the chat. I see someone saying MTG's a baddie for real, for real. Lefty commies can't handle a real woman. I mean, she's all right. I don't know. I don't want to be mean. She's pretty base, pretty dope, but she's a bit butch. I don't know. Not exactly my type. She's cute. I mean, like, it's a solid, like, I mean, it's like, I don't know. Like, it's 0 and 1. It's a 1, but like out of... It's nothing to be like, whoa. So yeah, MTG's got that troll face. Bird Pie's not bad, says Eddie. She's got those crazy eyes. Yeah, she actually, the thumbnail gave her a little bit of a cross eyes, but I was like, better just leave well enough alone. Whenever you're dealing with those AI thumbnails, it's like if you change one little thing, you could end up messing with it for another 30 minutes. So it's like, whatever. She's a little cross-eyed anyway, so let's leave her that way. But yeah, she got pretty based over the past, 24 or 48 hours, something like that. But, all right. But, yeah, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning, Eddie Grimm. Good morning, Adam. Good morning, JMS. Good morning, Academical. Good morning, JAS. Good morning, Eddie Grimm. Good morning, Adam. Good morning, Charles. And then someone saying that she has some wild after-sex stories. There are a lot of rumors that go around. Now, whether they're true or not, I have no idea. I mean, some things are just that, rumors. So, but I have heard lots of rumors, so I have no idea what the truth of all of that is. But yeah, I guess let's go ahead and just jump on in, guys. Let's jump into the first story. Let's start off with foreign policy. We're gonna kind of get back into where get into it. Just settle back into what the fuck's going on. Because the past, like I said, 48 hours, just what the fuck? What's going on? But all right, we're settling in. Peace is prevailing. We'll get into that. 1 second. Here we go. Shaky Israel-Iran ceasefire appears to hold after Trump tells Israel to stop the bombing. And this is from Dave DeCamp. Oh, by the way, real quick, I did want to mention, I forgot last night, or not forgot, we didn't last night, we didn't do Already Dead last night. The reason why is Austin's not feeling well, or wasn't feeling well, so we are going to do it on Thursday. Same time. I don't know, maybe I'll try to see if we can get a guest or something to make up for it. I don't know. But yeah, he wasn't feeling good, so we're going to move it to Thursday, but he didn't want to miss Already Dead because we have a lot going on. Works out anyways, because I know we have our producer, we have Jules, so he's like also our sit-in co-host when one of us is out, but it worked out because I would have had to have been... I would have had to sit out anyways because I had shit happening last night. So it worked out that we just went ahead and canceled early, so... but yeah, we'll have that on Thursday. So Thursday, if you guys want to hang out with us, maybe make some calls, shoot the bull with us, that'll be the time to do it. Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Also tonight, I have Dana Duda for the patrons. That'll be live for the patrons. So if you do want to shoot the bull with us, talk in the chat, you're welcome to do that. But Yeah, obviously the patrons will get that like a couple weeks earlier. So, but yeah, I have her on tonight. So she'll be joining me, I think we said 9:30. So, but anyways, let's get back in the story. A fragile ceasefire between Israel and Iran appears to be holding after it got off to a shaky start, and President Trump publicly urged Israel to stop the bombing. Trump announced the truce on Monday night, which was followed by heavy Israeli attacks on Tehran. Iran then hit back with several waves of ballistic missile strikes. Iran violated it, but Israel violated it too, Trump told reporters in the White House lawn before boarding Marine One to go to the NATO summit in The Hague. Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and dropped a load of bombs of the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen, I'm not happy with Israel. We covered a lot of this yesterday, but this was, I mean, like, it had just happened when we covered it yesterday. So like I said, when we talked about it yesterday, there hadn't even been articles, so it's like hadn't had time to organize the thoughts. So we are going to rehash, I guess, a little bit of some territory. But as I said even yesterday when we were covering, I'm like, a lot of this is very uncertain. So now we're getting where it's a little bit more certain. So here we go. When he announced the ceasefire, he said it would take effect in 12 hours. When I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either, but I'm really happy if Israel is going out this morning because of one rocket. But I'm really unhappy if Israel is going out this morning because of one rocket, Trump said. We have two countries who've been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they are doing, the president added. According to a report from Axios, Iran fired 3 missiles that were either intercepted or landed in open areas, although Iran denied it fired missiles past the ceasefire deadline. So this is where we get this ongoing cue the meme every single time. And every single time we have a ceasefire that involves Israel, this is what happens. There's some sort of claim that the other side broke the ceasefire, and then we're going to do some shit. And then I think it was the Lebanon ceasefire, I believe, got over triple digits dead. Whatever the fuck that ceasefire was, it was never really all a ceasefire means is we kill less people. For them. So this is, hell, the Gaza, there was the small period of Gaza ceasefire, I believe that got up to triple digits as well of people dying. So this is a country with a track record. So the idea that, I tend to actually defer to Iran, which is funny. I think we've gone maybe a little bit of an eye-opening from a lot of people recently and realizing, maybe we shouldn't just always defer to everything Israel says, because this is what they do. They make claims, just much like the nuclear thing, as we said the whole time, that like all the claims that we got were all that like the only intel they had that they were like moving actually forward towards a nuke was Israeli intel. That's everything we were hearing from behind the scenes. I know we got that thing from Tulsi we covered yesterday, but even then she was still saying like, oh, I'm not saying anything different from what I said before. So she was just doing semantics. So like she was still saying technically like, oh, well, but then she added this like, but they could like get one in weeks to months or whatever the hell she said, that's complete bullshit. But point being is like it's just they make these claims and then it's put on this like, oh well, these guys are the evil Islam, Muslims that do the bad things and remember 9/11 and evil Hajis and I don't know, they don't believe in they don't worship Jesus. And it's like, and then you go, oh, yeah, I guess they are bad. And you guys are you're Israel, you're Jews. We've always been told that like we're supposed to bless the Jews and like you guys are the good guys. And so that's how this literally goes, like every single time. It's just these loose claims from them, and then just everyone just buys it because it's Israel. But then when the other side, Iran, whether it be, or some other Durka Muhammad jihadistan country, make some claim, they go, well, that's just Durka Muhammadistan. Like, who gives a fuck what they have to say? They're full of shit. They're probably lying. They're such pieces of shit. That's how it always goes. And this is what they did. And then, which you would think, like, I guess, I don't know, maybe there was some smart, some genius to the way this confusing ceasefire was made, in the sense that it, like, leaves open for, like, you kind of have to, it allows you to, if you want to act in good faith, you can, but it's going to expose you. So, point being is it almost, like, exposes the degree just exposed to what a level Israel is not a a partner for peace. So, as they always like to say about, Gaza or the Palestinians or whatever, oh, we don't have a partner for peace. Well, they're not a partner for peace. So, and I think this kind of exposed it that like, okay, yeah, maybe, because this is a confusely wording ceasefire, maybe technically, but it's like, okay, well then you should have let those. Maybe you should just let certain things slide. But it seems to be that no, we have to have the last word. Or if you want to give an even worse interpretation, no, fuck this ceasefire. We're going to fuck it up through deception. So, yeah. So according to so Iran denied that, and Israel sent fighter jets to bomb Iran about the same time Trump was speaking to reporters. After his comments, Trump wrote on Truth Social. Okay, so now we're getting a proper chronology because I was a little bit confused at how this went down. So we saw that video, and then I guess while he was reporting on that, they were sending over things to bomb him. And so then Trump calls over and goes, or not calls, but he goes on Truth and he goes, Israel do not drop those bombs. If you do, it's a major violation. Bring your pilots home now. Donald J. Trump, blah, blah, blah. Axios report said that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu then spoke to Trump and said he would cancel the airstrikes, but that Israel said he could cancel. Actually, I misread that. My bad. And said he could cancel the airstrikes, but that Israel significantly scaled back the planned attack and targeted only one radar system. I think maybe there's a typo there. Maybe they meant couldn't, because I don't feel like that sentence makes sense with could. That he could, I mean, if he's saying he could cancel it, but then he scaled it back, then that's saying like, well, I could, but I don't want to. That's what it sounds like. So that's what I'm saying. I think there might be a typo there, and he means he couldn't. And so he made some way, which I think like he probably could have canceled it. Because if you can scale back the attack, then I think you could probably cancel it. I mean, obviously I need some specifics. Maybe that could be true, but it seems to be I don't know. That seems to be bullshit to me. That seems to be, we just wanted to get one off, so maybe we can get what we want, but we can go. It's kind of like I don't know when you tell your kid not to do something, and then they just do it like a tiny little bit, just to test their limit. That's what it feels like. So they still technically did the thing they weren't supposed to do, but they only did it like a little bit. All right, where we were. And the Axios report said that, all right, so they significantly scaled it back. They targeted only one radar system. In a follow-up post, Trump said, Israel is not going to attack Iran. All plans will turn around and head home. While doing a friendly plane wave to Iran. Nobody will be hurt. The ceasefire is in effect. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. Since this morning, both Iran and Israel have acknowledged the ceasefire. Iran's Supreme National Security Council credited the Iranians' military response and counterattacks as the reason why Israel decided to halt its war, and said it was ready to respond if Israel violated the truce. In a statement on the ceasefire, Netanyahu said he decided to refrain from additional attacks on Iran after a conversation with Trump. So here we are. They made it happen. Good for them. I think the narrative game here that we're getting a lot now is going to be, oh, look at you people who panicked. And so actually I wanted to watch a video on that. Let's watch Gerald Morgan, who is this the fucking the Crowder CEO guy. I think he's basically their Jew, essentially, I think is the role he fills. But they don't get a full-on one, so they just got like a Shabbat goy that they sent over from Daily Wire or something. So this is my understanding. He seems to be the one who kind of is a little bit more neoconish a lot of times. But here's him giving a statement, I guess, to those of us who would be a little bit more panicked about this situation.
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of talk about this and a lot of developments, but today needed to happen. There was a reason that we were getting pissed off all along the way, and you saw us commenting on it and talking about how people are not serving their audiences. This is not about having frustrations with individuals alone, though some of them rise to a little higher level than others, in my opinion. Some of our friends were even saying this. We're like, guys, look, this is not serving your audience by saying, hey, World War III. It's fine to say, hey, let's stay out of World War III if it happens to be coming along, or we don't want boots on the ground in the Middle East again. Everybody's in agreement there. Yeah. We're all fine with that. What we're not fine with is spinning up a narrative and running with it to try to dupe people into believing that Israel controls Donald Trump.
Why isn't that okay? Why isn't that okay to talk about, Gerald? Why can't we talk about that? Why wouldn't I think that? I mean, we're getting this glib, smug bullshit from a lot of people right now. Like, oh, look, Trump, we got a ceasefire, it's hold. And I will say, like, holy shit, I'm a little bit like kind of astounded as of right now. And it is we did kind of weirdly, sort of, not really, maybe. I could see a positive of this being perhaps a better position. But there clearly were better ways to go about this. And frankly, I still think, like, this was really fucking stupid. Really, 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 really fucking stupid. Like, I don't know. It's so many levels. I've been giving you the breakdown throughout. And this stuff hit us so hard and fast that I feel like they're almost able to pull this, like, gaslight trick of, like, oh, you guys are just lying to your audience. And, what do you think, Trump's controlled by Israel? It's like, okay, maybe now he's not. I mean, maybe now he's a little bit, and maybe controlled is maybe a little bit strong. But, like, come on. What did we just witness? We witnessed them enter into something like 60 days of peace talks with all sorts of talks, public talks about how we want this to go forward well. I believe it was even 24 hours prior to the initial attacks from Israel. There were all these claims about how we want diplomacy, blah, 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 blah. And so this is where we get to a split in the narrative. And it's confusing. We have different people saying different things. We have the Tuckers of the world saying one thing. We have, other things being implicated. We have the Trumps essentially saying the other. Essentially, I mean, not necessarily saying it, but like they're heavily implying it. So we get to this fork in the road to where you have two separate narratives. I mean, with some, maybe combo of the two along the way. Depends at which point it can transform into the other. It's uncertain. But essentially, you get to the point to where it's like, okay, are you interacting with Iran in good faith in trying to pursue a deal? Is that what's occurring here? Because if so, and let's say even up to, like, I think it's pretty, like, incredulous to think that they never got any notice from Israel. Like, they obviously did. You could tell they started clearing out assets in the area and stuff. Pretty clear. So I think it's pretty obvious that they got some sort of word. But whatever, you get 24 hours word or something like that. I don't feel like it's really, I guess, too much on you to tell Iran. And I think you could probably let that one be bygones, whatever. I don't know. But the point being is, like, you could say that, like, they essentially got sideswiped with, like, I mean, obviously if it was before the statements of, like, hey, because he did make, public statements Trump did about, like, we want diplomacy, don't want blah, 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 blah. If that was after being made aware of what's going on with Netanyahu, then yeah, that was skeezy shit. This is super gross. And so the point being is they either were completely betrayed by Israel, and this was at the initial time Israel joined the talks, and so they were either initially betrayed by them, and and then we had everything that then fell after that, without ever acknowledging it, and then weirdly leaning into this narrative as if we knew and we were completely working with them, and they're our vassal, kind of being like, oh, they're our buddies, they're our allies. We were totally we were all working together the entire time. Like, there's this implication. So it's like you either essentially bitched out. While essentially, like, when you were trying to clearly do the right thing, you either bitched out, and then after being dragged around by the balls by this other country through all sorts of bullshit over 48 hours, doing all sorts of craziness, and then at the end of it, you somehow managed to sort of do the right thing, and by that you mean you make the situation that you created into this shit show less of a shitty situation than it is. Like, what? Like, how is anyone being smug about this? And then that's just from the jump. And then from there, then we go into, then there's that later when he goes into, oh, I'm going to take 2 weeks to think about this. I mean, to be fair, at that point, it's a little bit less egregious, because then it goes into, like, well, we might at some point, I mean, I'm allowing myself any time to, but it's clearly that was deception as well. I mean, and there were even reports of that. And that was them. So then that was them that they then decided to then bomb their nuclear facilities. So completely went in on their own with additional deception, possibly. So, I mean, any way you run this, I think it's pretty fucking gross. Like, it's pretty pathetic. So I just don't really get the people being like, oh, being smug, and then also trying to act like, oh, well, yeah, maybe now. I mean, this is like the one Like the one thing that I was like, okay, all right, at the end of this, because it's like it really did expose what a shitty actor Israel is, and you got to see the Trump be legitimately upset about it and make multiple statements talking about it, clearly speaking about Iran in a more favorable light than Israel, which is not at all a normal thing that happens. So, I don't know, wild stuff. So yeah, I think it's a little bit nuts, this take that I'm seeing a lot of these people that were... I saw someone recently breaking up into 3 camps. You know, you have the Panikins, which, you know, they're saying it like ironically, like, is it stupid? Because it is a stupid name. There'd be the people like me, even though I'm not even really Republican, so I don't really fit into this. I'm not conservative. But you basically had 3 camps. You had the Trust of Planners. You had essentially what was the neocons, and then you had the people like, I guess, like me, they were like, yo, what the fuck? So I don't know I don't think Gerald would really be, I don't think he would actually be like the neoconners or whatever. I think he's more one of the trusted planners of just like, oh, well, let's just wait for Trump. No, he's not controlled. Fucking 5G chess. But yeah, let's finish this.
Controls Donald Trump. That's not something that we are fine with.
Which is gay. This like this comes off as tough talk, and then it's like, but you know what we're really not fucking cool with? Saying Trump's owned by Israel. You're like, oh, I don't know. That sounds really like, I don't know. Why is that? Why is it like? It's not even like they're saying like that's. It almost sounds like. I mean, at least this is the way it feels to me. It's like a pearl clutching thing almost. It's like, it's almost like that's just anti-Semitic. Oh, that's just crazy. Like, I don't know. I think it's a fair question. What do they got in this dude?
Donald Trump. That's not something that we are fine with. It's not okay to keep spinning these lies. It is okay to pursue truth. It is okay to talk about things that are controversial. It is okay to criticize Israel. Nobody here has a problem with that, right?
No.
We have a problem with lying to your audiences. We have a problem with doing it for clicks.
So this is the angle. They're going, you're lying, you're doing it for clicks, which I don't know anyone. And this is such an insane take, too, especially. Like, I get it, like, maybe later you could say, oh, well, there clearly was, like, oh, this angle to lean into, but I don't know. A lot of these people, like, say, for example, Dave, and, like, you know, burning, he essentially used up all of his capital when it comes to, like, maybe not all of it, a sizable chunk of his capital with MAGA and the Trump movement. So, like, and I think he should have. I don't think he did anything wrong. I think, honestly, too, if these Panikins or whatever hadn't fucking freaked out, I think we would be I think we'd still be going. I think it was I don't know exactly what happened. I mean, it's hard to say what happened behind the scenes. You never know to what degree they're controlled, this, that, or if they're like, oh shit, this isn't going down like I thought. You don't know, but I mean, it really, really feels like the strong component of the Panikins are maybe very well why this is playing out the way it is. And why I wouldn't be surprised if we get folded out in weeks to come, the narrative, as like I said, I've implied, narrative, why am I fucking spinning over my words today? The narrative that Tucker was pushing and others, that it was like, oh, he got betrayed by Israel here. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the narrative they go with. That way, because, I mean, they kind of have to embrace one or the other. I mean, but I don't think he will publicly. He's still going to play the tough guy publicly. But, yeah, I don't know. And I don't trust that narrative either. As I've said, I don't trust Tucker. I could easily see this being a control both situations thing. I mean, Tucker says all the right things. I'll give him that. So it's like, cool. If you want to give me CIA agents to say all the things that I want to be said and give them a huge platform, then it's like, cool. I am expecting probably maybe a 9-degree at somewhere where I go, hey, I'm not cool with that one, but I mean, whatever. If it's just as simple as like, oh, well, we need to give him like off ramps to do the right thing every now and then to Trump, I'm like, whatever. If you need some sort of mechanism to protect Trump's ego to that degree to do the right thing, I don't fucking care. Like, I mean, because that's what this comes down to. A lot of this too comes down to is like, how do we frame this that we can accept and move on? Because I don't know. To some extent, you almost kind of have to like eat crow and sort of maybe, you know, not me particularly, but a lot of people, you do to some extent almost need to like pat them on the back. But like, it was a very good thing you did there, Donnie. Yeah, Israel's so bad, and and emphasize the good things out of that. But it is also a little bit concerning that someone could get the takeaway that any of all these actions, except for, I guess, the actions that ended it all, that any of that thing was good things to do. Yeah, that is a bad lesson to get from this. Like the way it ended, that was cool. Although if they had from the moment, assuming that they were good faith actors, if they had from the moment Israel did their bullshit, was like, nope, that's crazy. We condemn that. That's not okay. We'd be in a so much better situation. Like, and you wouldn't even have to to betray Israel. You could even just do completely rhetorically. You wouldn't even have to get them to commit to much. Just condemn the actions, and we would be in a completely different situation. It's all they had to do. And you know what? They were condemnable actions. That was fucking crazy shit. The fact that Israel just blew up our fucking negotiations. Literally, I believe it was Saturday. No, I think it was Saturday we attacked. It was 2 days before they were supposed to kick back up in negotiations because it was on a Sunday. All right. Anyways, let's get into also on the side of things about what even happened to nuclear sites. We'll get into that. I want to check in the chat, see what you guys say. It's been a minute checking on y'all. See Tommy in here. See some of y'all showing up. Juan, what's up? Hustle Bones, Bug Fight. See much of the regulars showing up. Subductory. It's funny seeing all the Jewish lovers being, oh wow, you guys were so wrong. No World War III, just normal war crimes. Yeah. Yeah, before anyone praises Trump for the ceasefire, they need to remember he wouldn't have needed that if he just simply told Israel to fuck off. Exactly. Like, literally all he had to do was say the words, not cool. That's it. I mean, maybe that's a little bit ridiculous, but you get what I mean. He just had to be like, whoa, what the fuck? That's it. Robin says Trump's getting paid by anxiety drug makers. That would make sense. Dr. says, I don't think Trump greenlit the whole thing all the way up to the strikes, but I also think Israel thought they could force Trump's hands. I actually tend to probably lean towards that as opposed to some fully coordinated thing. Obviously, it's a combo. It's some mix between the two. I mean, at some point he was made aware, and I do think he was like... I do think when he made those tweets about how he wants diplomacy, blah, 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 I think he probably had actually just, because I believe that was like right around 24 hours prior, I think he had just gotten notified, because I think that was right around the time he was pulling people out. So I think maybe he actually did lean into deception, but I don't know, maybe he thought that'd be plausibly deniable, but I might be wrong. But at the very least, they knew somewhat in the realm of like 24 hours prior, because they did move assets, and it only makes sense they would do that. But yeah, I think you're right. I think Israel definitely took some executive decisions of their own and just said, fuck you, we do what we want. And Trump had to play catch up at different points. At what point, I'm not sure. So, oh, hell yeah. What's up, Andrew Jacobs? He said, good morning, sir. I decided to cancel paying Rumble $10 a month in favor of just paying you $5 a month. Hell yeah. Thank you, friend. You guys can do that over at patreon.com/NoWayJose2020 if you want to support the show. Speaking of which, let me pop over to Rumble. Also, if you guys want to drop Rumble rants, as he was referring to with Rumble, you guys can do that over there too if you don't want to do Patreon, if you don't want to do the subscription thingy. But you can't do it on YouTube. Sorry. It is what it is. Good morning. Hey, say what now? Just see you just now showing up. Good morning, Black Eye. Here you go. JMS says Trump owns it because the left and right Turkey got useful idiots to rebuild Babylon. Oh, hey, what's up, Tipster? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Gerald Hall. Hey, Calpacal. You still haven't figured out how to go on YouTube or Rumble, have you? I saw you asking the other day. Just go to youtube.com or rumble.com. Go to No Way Jose. That is the name of the podcast. Find my beautiful green little spirally thing here. Click on that channel and go to the live, and you'll see we're live right now, and you'll be able to join, whether that's on Rumble or on YouTube. Make sure you hit that bell icon so they send you notifications. But all right, let's go ahead and get into this. This report, initial U.S. intelligence assessment says U.S. didn't destroy Iran's nuclear sites. Now, it's funny, he actually sent out a tweet about this yesterday. It says fake news, CNN, together with the failing New York Times, have teamed up in an attempt to demean one of the most successful military strikes in history. The nuclear sites in Iran are completely destroyed. Both the Times and CNN are getting slammed by the public. I don't know what he's talking about, slammed by the public. I tend to agree. I thought that seemed to make sense from the jump, but I don't know. I mean, I'm also, this is one of those I could believe either way. The idea that we're like, that's ridiculous. Like, I don't know. Completely believable to me. They said this shit was like in a mountain, and as I even covered in this show, there were plenty of reports that were saying before they even did the thing that nope, wouldn't be enough. It would have to be a nuke. So, but here we go. CNN reported on Tuesday that an initial U.S. intelligence assessment has found that the U.S. bombing of 3 Iranian nuclear sites didn't destroy the core components of the sites and likely set the nuclear program back by only a few months. The assessment was prepared by the Pentagon's Defense Intelligence Agency and was based on a battle damage assessment from U.S. CENTCOM, and it could change as the U.S. gathers more intelligence. So the DIA assessment is that the U.S. set them back maybe a few months tops. The report also said that the U.S. strikes didn't destroy Iran's stockpile of enriched uranium, and the centrifuges were largely intact. The assessment contradicts President Trump's claims that the bombing of the Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan nuclear sites totally obliterated the facilities. The White House confirmed the existence of the assessment, but said it didn't agree with the findings. This alleged assessment is flat out wrong and was classified as top secret, but was still leaked to CNN by an anonymous, low-level loser in the intelligence community. Weird calling loser. You know what? You know what I call those? That's a fucking hero. Thank you. Salutes to you. Doing real fucking patriotism. I know everyone's going to call them a fucking traitor to their country, but no, that is actually having commitment to real principles like liberty and, those such nice things. The leaking of this alleged assessment is a clear attempt to demean President Trump and discredit the brave fighter pilots. It's not brave. You fucking flew a plane. Congrats. Good job. Wow. Who conducted a perfectly executed mission to obliterate Iran's nuclear program. And each one of those guys get paid like well over 6 figures. Because to be a pilot, you have to be a officer. And officers, you can be a fucking retard. Fucking, you just, congrats. You have a degree. You're an idiot. Now you get to control a whole group of people. Oh, cool. Oh, see this 40-year-old man that has, on his second mortgage and third wife and has 8 kids. Well, guess what? You're in charge of him, Mr. 23-year-old second lieutenant. And you get paid like 3 times as much as him. But yeah, so that's every one of those pilots is an officer. So those people are getting paid plenty more than, so there's no need to suck these guys off. They're getting paid well over 6 figures. They are doing just fine. So, and I'm sure they got extra pay for this, some sort of duty pay. I'm not sure what it would be, if that'd be combat pay or what you get for flying. But yeah, get the fuck out of here. So gay. I know. I can't stand people who suck off military. It's like, dude, they get, especially like pilots. Like, dude, fuck off. Who conducted a perfectly executed mission to obliterate Iran's nuclear program. Everyone knows what happens when you drop 14 30,000-pound bombs perfectly on their targets. Total obliteration, Levitt added. No, I don't know that. And I don't think everyone knows what happens when you drop 14 30,000-pound bombs on what's supposed to be a nuclear facility that's deep inside of a mountain, is where we were always told this. We need your specific, your weapons, is what we were told. So it's like, this was already supposed to be some sort of Herculean task to begin with. So, I don't know. Trying to act like, just trust me, bro. That's what this whole administration is. It's the trust me, bro administration. That's what it is. At every level, they got all these people, and props to them. They must have had this plan that, like, hey man, we're gonna have to really do a lot of trust me bros. So we need to get a lot of people with a lot of saved up trust me bros. And now there's people like me that look at them and go, they've used up all my trust me bros because I've been paying attention and seen their bullshit. But they picked a lot of those actors that, like, most people hadn't caught on to their bullshit, and were like, there's some trust me bros left in there. Well, Kash Patel's used them all up. I don't know how much more Tulsi has. I don't know how much more, this guy has. We're just running out. This is just ridiculous. The leaking of this alleged assessment is a clear attempt. Oh, never mind. I read that part already. Trump responded. I read that. Iran is still assessing the damage done to its nuclear facilities, but has vowed that it will continue its uranium enrichment program. I'm having trouble with words today. According to the Cradle, Mohammed Eslami, the head of the IAEA, said that plans for restarting the facilities have been prepared in advance. Iranian President Mossad Pezeshkian said Tuesday that Iran was still not seeking nuclear weapons, but wouldn't give up its legitimate rights, referring to its civilian nuclear program. As well, it shouldn't. The U.S. had no evidence that Iran decided to build a bomb before Israel launched its attacks, and Tehran made clear during previous negotiations that it was ready to reduce its uranium enrichment levels as part of a deal with the U.S. Yeah, they were willing to go down to below 4%, but that wasn't good enough because we had to insist no enrichment because that was super duper 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 important. All right, let's check in the chat, see what y'all got to say. Good morning, everybody. Every legit military expert I've heard agrees it's highly unlikely any serious damage is done, and even if there was, it does nothing meaningful to the nuclear program. Yeah, it's like, okay, cool. Maybe you blew up one nuclear facility. Maybe that was super important, but we attacked 3 of them, so just by its virtue, that's an admittance there's multiple of them. I don't know, there could be secret ones. I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's what I'm hearing too. It seems like everyone except for the administration, and even then the administration is just, trust me, bro. It's good. Here's Calvo. I found the live chat on YouTube, but still can't figure out how to comment. I don't know what to tell you. You just got to type at that point. But hey, you figured out how to chat on Twitter, so we're good enough. Whatever, that works. IA saying this. They said they found 2 impact holes from the U.S. strikes above the underground halls that had been used for enrichment as well as for storage. Yeah, I know they keep showing these like photos, and you can see sort of little pinprick holes, but it's like I don't have X-ray vision, so it's like, cool, you're showing me holes. I don't know how far, and we were told that supposedly this Fordow thing was super duper duper deep under there. So I don't know. So yeah, reputation laundering is a growth industry. Like, share, subscribe, or the terrorists win. Yeah, guys, like, share, subscribe. That way I can be the future. Trust me, bro. One day I can rise to power. I can get put in a position, and then when it's like the lizard people have like, all the crazy gay sex I've done over the years, and then like, they send me photos of like, pinpoint coordinates of where every one of my family members are and stuff. Then I go, oh, trust me, bro. On camera, just like all the Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and all that. But yeah, if you guys ever want to get me to that level, that's what I need you guys to do. I need to like, share, subscribe, support the show any way you can. You want to get me, if you want me to get me on Bongino level, hey, I mean, maybe we'll have to come up with like a little thing, like a little, like a kind of like a first baseman type, thing that would like, hey, when Jose does that, it's like, dude, the lizard people, it's legit. Like, he's full of shit right now. They're going to murder him and talk and, expose all the gay sex he's had. So, like, it is what it is. I got to say what I got to say. So, but get me there, guys. All right. Just give me Tulsi, Jose. That's all I asked you. You calm down, buddy. Bonk, bonk. Seems like Trump is trying to suck off Israel while also saving face with his base at the same time. Yep. All right, let's get into the next thing. Oh, this is one little story I want to share with you guys. I thought it was interesting. I've seen it shared around, so I'm sure maybe some of you guys have heard about it, but I just want to share it with you guys. This is a wild story. This is from ZEI Squirrel. He's one of those anti-Semitic accounts out there, which whatever, I enjoy it. The Mossad called Iranian generals and threatened to kill their wife and children if they did not record video messages saying they oppose the Iranian government and want to overthrow it. They plan to release these videos when they launch their war to cause state collapse. None of the generals they threatened made the video, instead stood by their nation and people. Genocidal Zionists are the most depraved subhuman scum alive, and everything they do must be done to them 1,000-fold. Call all their generals and military commanders and tell them, record a video saying you will leave the colony and you have occupied within 12 hours, or you and your wife and children, entire bloodline will be wiped off the face of the earth. All right, that one obviously went a little bit off the rails there, but it is wild. This is a thing that happens. So here you go. It's a article here he shared. It says, quit the regime in 12 hours or you and your family are next, Mossad tells Iranian generals. It says, Israel's shadowy intelligence agency Mossad threatened Iranian generals and their families with imminent assassination if they did not quit the Ayatollah's regime, it has been revealed. The country launched its first wave of strikes on Iran on June 13th, targeting military leaders and top nuclear scientists. And in the hours after the first wave, intelligence operatives from Mossad begin a covert campaign to intimidate and destabilize Tehran's regime by calling them on their personal mobile phones. The Washington Post reported that Persian-speaking Mossad agents called over 20 senior officials in Tehran and told them they'd be killed if they did not renounce the rule of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, Iran's supreme leader. One Israeli operative reportedly told a senior general, "I can advise you now. You have 12 hours to escape with your wife and child. Otherwise, you're on our list right now." He reportedly added, "We're closer to you than your own neck vein. Put this in your head. May God protect you." This general, who the newspaper did not name, was told he had just 12 hours to make a video denouncing the regime. So, to remind you, this isn't hollow. I mean, this is the shit they do. Like this guy says, this is not a hollow threat from Mossad. They actually mass killed scientists and generals, along with their children and wives and other babies and children and civilians who just so happen to live or be next to them. And then they cry, "Oh my God, terrorism." They go after women and children. "Oh my God, terrorism." The worst actual terrorists alive are genocidal Zionists. They introduce terrorism into the region and spread it everywhere like the cancer they are, both directly themselves and via their proxies like ISIS. It's a great error to describe terrorism as the weapon of the weak. It's the weapon of the strong and always has been. If they do it's terrorism, when we do it, it's counterterrorism. Now you can find that in the Nazi archives too. This is I believe, what is this? Noam Chomsky. There you go. Why couldn't I think of his name? There you go.
I'm quite happy to accept the definition of terrorism that the official definition that one finds in the U.S. Code and in Army manuals. In fact, for 20 years I've been writing about international terrorism, and I constantly use that definition. I think it's the right definition. The terrorism is defined officially as the, paraphrased, as the calculated use of violence, typically against civilians, for the purpose of intimidation and coercion to attain political, religious, ideological, or other ends. That's terrorism. By that, and that's a good definition. I agree with it. There are terrorist states. There are non-state terrorist actors, and in fact, the State Department has a list of terrorist states. Well, if we apply that definition, that definition can't really be applied, and therefore it's not used. So there's that's the literal definition. The reason it can't be applied is two reasons. One is it's a virtual paraphrase of official U.S. doctrine, which is called counterinsurgency or low-intensity conflict. Mm-hmm. If you look at the same Army manuals, you find that's defined in approximately the same way. But that's official policy. The second reason why it can't be applied is that if you do apply it, it very quickly turns out that the United States is a leading terrorist state, exactly as you'd expect of the most powerful state in the world. I mean, it's a great analytic error to describe terrorism as a weapon of the weak. Like most weapons, it's primarily a weapon of the strong, and always has been.
Yep, we're always told this idea that, herder terrorists, these Middle Eastern Haji terrorists, but the sad, uncomfortable reality is that we and Israel and pretty much any of the entities that engage in empire building, they're the terrorists. I mean, I would say we, but it's not like we. I guess I was in the military for a while, but I'm not anymore, and so I'm not literally we. But yeah, that's what difference is there? I mean, all these attacks we saw with this preemptive strike from Israel. I don't think I saved this. I don't think I have this article brought up because I just didn't really feel like we needed to go through. But I think it's something like 600 people were killed by Israel in these preemptive strikes. That's just terrorism. They just struck a town. I mean, what's the firebombing of Tokyo, Dresden, like what? Hiroshima, Nagasaki. In what way is that terrorism? And someone who goes into a synagogue and blows himself up. I mean, I don't know. It's Dresden. Way more people died. I mean, what was the difference? That we're using more expensive. I don't know that it was the logistics were more of a pain in the ass. I mean. Yeah, and then we're told, the one thing that really bugged me in the Ted Cruz Tucker thing, but I understand why he did it. Is he at one point said the thing about all presidents kill people, and then Ted Cruz, what do you use moral equivocation or whatever? Like, we're not the same as other. Like, you saying President Trump kills people? Yes, Trump kills people. Like, yeah, like more like in this whole idea of like, oh, you're morally equivocating. Like, okay, well, what are you referring to? Because he's probably meaning something like some big boogeyman like Russia or or Iran or something. And then honestly, even then, compare them. I mean, if you're doing the whole like presidents kill people, I guess it depends on what you mean by that, but it probably just means the wars. Then by that metric, Trump is literally the worst. So the whole moral thing is like, no, there's no moral equivocation going on here. No, I'm literally saying he's worse. So like, it is what it is. All right, and then on the war front, I know everyone the whole thing of like, oh, World War III, we averted World War III. Well, for one, as I kind of had talked about when it comes to ceasefires, Israel's not really well known for keeping ceasefires. I will say I'm a little bit more positive for this one just because of the fact of how upset Trump got over the whole thing, and maybe, just maybe, one would think, although Israel never ceases to amaze, but one would think they would have the intelligence to go, okay, maybe we just like chill a little bit for a little while or something. But I don't know. I also wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow they're back at it with Iran and have broken a ceasefire or something. So, but even with that, it's like, okay, cool. It says, here's the article from Dave DeCamp. IDF chief says campaign against Iran not over, but focus will shift to Gaza for now. So, you know how I've been reporting throughout? There's a reason why I've been making sure to report throughout the stories about, the aid killings and the ongoing slaughter in Palestine. And it's because even while this was going on, they did just as much, if not more. And now we don't have Iran, so they're going back to it. So it looks like to me, this is kind of, I know there's some, legal or I think it might be election stuff going on. I forget the specifics when it comes to Netanyahu. So a lot of people have surmised that perhaps the timing of all this has a lot to do with that. But I would also contend the timing of this has a lot to do with Gaza. Before this stuff kicked off with Iran, where we were at with Gaza is they had a lot of pressure on them. The Western nations were really kind of coalescing against them. With the exception of the United States. And even then, the United States was, in retrospect to the whole Iran thing, it seems like perhaps this was a seeded narrative, but at the very least, they felt the need to seed a narrative that there was some sort of divide between these two entities. So point being is this was like kind of functioned as a distraction from Gaza. All right, now they're back at Gaza. So now what's going to happen when we naturally start refocusing on Gaza and go, holy fucking shit, they're killing like something in the realm of 1 to 2 Wacos a day in just people trying to get aid. That's not even the entire nation. So what's going to happen when people start focusing on, are we going to get more shit in Iran? This is kind of my point. This is like, this whole like, no, this is, I believe Dave DeCamp was on Matt Gaetz recently, and what he had to say is that I don't see us, I know everyone's like, woo, Trump saved the day. I don't see us getting out of the situation until someone fucking nuts up and says, no more military aid. I really, really, really think, maybe Trump will somehow thread this needle and somehow get Israel to back off. The Iran thing doesn't happen. I don't know what the fuck happens with Gaza, but we're still in a powder keg, and it still easily can jump right back off with Iran at any fucking moment. And frankly, as soon as it gets uncomfortable with them in Gaza, they probably will try to do that. So, I don't know. At least through all of this, it seems like Trump's more upset. So maybe, I don't know how many times Israel can just spit in your fucking face before we do something. Like, do literally something other than, woohoo, you said naughty words on TV. Which, crazy enough, that's probably one of the strongest actions we've seen in at least in modern times. Against the state of Israel. President Trump said, fuck. That's where we're at. All right. Emil Zamir, the chief of staff of the Israeli military, said on Tuesday that while a chapter in the conflict with Iran is over, see, they even are saying a chapter. Of course, it's not over, which even they're calling a ceasefire. So I know Trump's trying to call it the 12-day war. We'll see how that goes. Israel's campaign against the country is not, and that for now, the IDF will focus on the destruction of Gaza. We've concluded a significant chapter, but the campaign against Iran is not over. We are entering a new phase, one that builds upon the achievements of the current operations, Zamir said after a fragile ceasefire between Israel and Iran began to hold. Now the focus returns to Gaza, to bring the hostages home and toppling Hamas's rule, Zamir added. During the 12 days of Israeli attacks on Iran, The Israeli military continued its genocidal onslaught in Gaza, killing dozens of Palestinians each day. Here is IDF Chief of Staff Eyal Zamir. On the off chance you ever see him, make sure to tell him to go fuck off. Israeli Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich also said that Israel will now turn all of its strength on Gaza. Now we turn with all of our strength to Gaza to complete the task, destroy Hamas and return our hostages, and to ensure, with God's help, many years of security and growth from strength for the people of Israel, he said. Smotrich and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu have made clear that their ultimate goal is the total destruction of Gaza and the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinian population. Last month, Smotrich said that the purpose of the current military operation in Gaza is to concentrate the civilian population into a tiny area before forcing them to leave. A concentration camp. The Gazan citizens will be concentrating in the south. They will be totally despairing, understanding that there is no hope and nothing to look for in Gaza, and will be looking for relocation to begin a new life in other places, he said. So that's where we're at right now. So all these people being smug, I mean, there's another thing to it. It's like, okay, cool. They managed to distract us from Gaza, and and now they're back at Gaza, and then they'll probably go back to Iran at any point anyway. So this whole smug, like, oh, why don't you just trust Trump? Because we're in a worse situation now than before. Aside from maybe the small glimmer of hope of like, oh, I'm seeing some irritation at Israel, so that like perhaps something actually can happen, because they're just going to keep on making things worse and worse and worse otherwise. Israeli forces kill at least 44 Palestinians in the latest Gaza aid massacres, so get ready for more now that they're refocusing their efforts. No need to really go into the specifics on this one. But yeah, they killed a total of 80 Palestinians in Gaza yesterday and 44 aid seekers. So, yep, fun times. This is greatest ally. And then we still have Zelensky still pushing for NATO membership despite Trump's administration rejection. So still keep an eye on that. That is still something going on. And I haven't really been reporting on this, but I did want to start maybe seeing this out there. But we've done 43 airstrikes in Somalia this year. Apparently we're fighting a two-front battle there against two entities, some sort of ISIS-affiliated entity, and then also the ISIS affiliate, and then also, who else I forget the other one. There's another group that they were fighting. But yeah, we're fighting two different fronts over there. So we're still trying to uphold our government over in Somalia, essentially, and I don't know, no one cares about that, which, I mean, I guess I get, but that's what's going on. This is a party of peace right here. All right, and then on the Iran side of things, what's going on? I thought this was interesting. I found this is from Murtaza Hussein, shared this. He says The Economist is reporting that the IRGC hardliners have already de facto seized power in Iran in outrage over perceived weak leadership of clerical elites. One thing that is certain is that pro-Western negotiation factions have been repeatedly humiliated, which this kind of comes to the idea of future peace talks, nuclearization, the country, like, while we are like, I don't know, I've been torn, because it feels gross to say, like, I wanted Iran to have a stronger retaliation. I didn't. Obviously, I don't ever want any, but it's also like, I know that when they do a weak little attack, then the takeaway is like, oh, what a bitch. And that's from both sides. That's from Israel. That's from Israel, the U.S. Like, it's kind of like, oh, we can do whatever the fuck we want, huh? You're just gonna be a little bitch about it. And it's like, it's truth to that. And then there's some truth to that. I mean, obviously, I prefer cooler heads prevail, and we just have peace talks and stuff. But the world leaders, I do think they kind of think of that. And so then when you see you're able to get pushed around, well, we're gonna keep on pushing you around. And then there's the other side of their people where they've been bombed. There's something, I believe, like over 600 people died in this. Trump threatened the entire city of Tehran. So so these people have been terrorized. And then what did their regime do? Basically nothing. I think they Iran killed 60 Israelis, which once again, I mean, people might say, oh, well, they didn't do shit. I think it more speaks to, I think they were trying to avoid escalation. So I would assume the targets they were hitting were probably very different. But point being, from a world powers perspective and from their own population perspective, doesn't look good. It looks weak. It looks like, hey, you let a shitload of us die and us get bullied by the world, And yeah, we're a little bit concerned. So now how's this going to happen when there are questions of things like nukes in the future? Should we maybe, actually pursue nukes? Should we actually pursue peace talks? Should denuclearization be on the table? These are all things that have been very much fucked because of all the nonsense of the past few days. So let's go and read this. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, is 86, and for years there has been speculation about succession, although who might gain the upper hand has been far from clear. The war is changing that, turbo-changing a power shift in the regime's military arm. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, in the first days of the fighting, Mr. Khamenei, aging and isolated for his own safety, disappeared from the scene like the Shia's hidden imam. He delegated decision-making to a new council, or shura, dominated by the IRGC. The country is in effect under martial law, says an observer. As the IRGC gains control, its elite is being transformed at speed by Israel's assassinations. Gone are the veteran commanders who for years pursued strategic patience, limiting their fire when their totemic leader, Qasem Soleimani, was assassinated in 2020, and holding it when Israel battered their proxies, Hamas and Hezbollah, in 2024. Now a new generation, impatient and more dogmatic, has taken their place and is bent on redeeming national pride. The maximalist position has been strengthened, says an academic close to the reformist camp. He claims the decision makers in the place before the war were debating whether to ditch their anti-Israel stance. So they were literally, okay, so assuming that's true, they were literally at a point where they're like, maybe we should just be chill with Israel now. That's where they were. They were literally willing to drop that rhetoric. And it says, but everyone is now a hardliner. This is what happens. Compounding the generational shift is a newfound cohesion in a military-industrial complex renowned for paranoia and scheming. A year ago, the regime was rocked by infighting. Businessmen, military professionals, and ideologues battled for supremacy inside the IRGC. Hardliners chased pragmatists from state institutions. Rival factions blamed each other for the death of the country's president in a mysterious helicopter crash in 2024. Now they appear to be coalescing against a common foreign enemy. How much public support does the emerging new power configuration enjoy? Many Iranians rue the billions of dollars that general squandered on 2 decades of pointless proxy wars, and even now some in Iran are describing the Israeli-American stripes as chemotherapy to remove cancerous cells. Increasingly, Israeli bombardments seem designed to tap into the seam of dissent and destabilize the country. Recent targets to Tehran include the police headquarters and the entrance to Evin, Iran's jail for its most prominent political prisoners. Yet in parallel, the war has triggered a nationalist surge and narrowed the gap between the ruler and ruled. No one has responded to calls from Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, or Reza Pahlavi, the royalist pretender, for a popular uprising. Earlier admiration for Israel's military prowess has turned to outrage as its targets have widened and the death toll has mounted. Scorn for the IRGC's haplessness has turned to pride at the speed of which it has reconstituted. Iranians who fled the capital are coming back. Those who once championed Israel are now handing over suspected Israeli agents to the police. Female political prisoners, the mothers of executed protesters and exiled Iranian pop stars have all issued calls to rally to Iran's defense. It backfired on Bibi, says a former official turned dissident using the nickname of Mr. Netanyahu. The shift at the top could dramatically alter the decision-making in Iran. Hardliners have always been against talks with America. They remember Muammar Gaddafi, the Libyan dictator who surrendered weapons of mass destruction in exchange for lifting of sanctions, and Saddam Hussein, who granted UN monitors unfettered access to Iraq. Both were toppled by Western interventions. Now even moderates feel burned. The last round of talks with America, set for June 15th, fooled them into lowering their guard just as Israel attacked. So yeah, they literally made them worse. Good job, guys. You did it. Mission accomplished. Woo! Fucking idiots. All right, let's go through the chat, see what you guys got to say. All right. America's a terrorist state and pretending we're tired of pretending we are. Yeah, exactly. Yup. So yeah, Pinochet much. Scrolling through. I never hated Trump before, but fuck this baby grinding orange motherfucker. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, like, this is, I mean, I don't know. I'm like, not that I was really on the train, but like, yeah, fuck this guy. I mean, I will say I'll give it to him that I've softened my stance a little bit after all this, because when this went off, there was a couple, I don't say viral, but some tweets that did well that were like, this dude has fucked kids. But it's like, I don't know, he may still have, but by the end, I'm like, I don't know, I could also buy some combination of that and just stupid boomer, because it's like, I don't know, just the way he's acted. I mean, it seemed genuine, and it just seemed like a stupid boomer dealing with, holy shit, why would Israel ever doing this? And just having like cognitive dissonance on the fly, like, ah. So, I don't know. Let's scroll through. Side topic, what's everyone's favorite conspiracy theory? Oklahoma City bombing. Boom. Jose, you see the ICE prison they are building next to the CIA's satanic missile silo? No, shit. Once again, if tag me and stuff, you guys got good stuff like this. So, all right, let's scroll through. Yeah, what's your favorite conspiracy tipster? Yeah, guys, comment. Put in the comments. Tell me what your favorite conspiracy is. I'd like to know. And send links if it's anything particularly interesting. Iran 100% restrained, saying hustle bones. Yep, for sure. Exactly. It seems like they're definitely been pulling back, not trying to go hard. Yeah, Iran was going after military targets. Israel literally attacks aid stations and refugee areas and camps. Yep, they're going for numbers. So assassinating scientists, yeah, which is like, that's like, even all these nuclear things, they're literally targeting nuclear scientists. These are nerds who went to school for like, I mean, I guess I don't know how the route to becoming a nuclear scientist in Iran. Who knows? Maybe it's just maybe it's a 30-minute PowerPoint presentation and getting your certificate in the mail. I have no idea. But I assume they went to a lot of school and they're really fucking nerdy. And then now they've learned how to work with nuclear shit and they're getting murdered for it, which is wild. And it is like, this is stuff that's not necessarily going to be used for military purposes. They've never used a nuke. Most of the stuff is like literally civilian shit. So, wild stuff. All right, let's go through. Talking about the fatwa stuff in the chat, about how they're literally against nukes in their religion, which is, everyone likes to just forget about that and just like, oh, well, I guess they're just lying or something. Adrian Brody says mine's also OKC. Nice. All right, let's scroll. Let's get into the next story. All right, here we go. All right, we're going to updates on the IVF bomber. Thank you, one of the patrons, for sharing this with me. Remind you guys that, hey, you guys are my eyes and ears out there. The co-conspirator in the Palm Springs bombing, Daniel Park, who's 32, fled to Poland and attempted to inflict self-harm upon being captured by Polish authorities, has died in federal custody after being found unresponsive at the Metropolitan Detention Center in L.A. around 7:30 a.m., so this is the IVF thing we covered a while ago that was a little bit weird. There was some spookiness to it. Remember that was the shut it down press conference when the one journalist asked about hey, weren't the FBI like on the scene like shortly before this or something? I forget the specific question. And they go, I can't answer that question. And then he goes to ask the next one, and then like another FBI agent goes, oh, we got to get out of here. And then they're like, shut it down. So yeah, that was the shut it down one we're referring to here. But yeah, here we go. Washington State man facing terrorism charges related to the bombing has died in custody inside a federal detention facility in L.A. All right, let's go. Actually, I have an article for this, so I don't know why I'm reading this from another one. But this just so happened, I know you guys, thank you to Mithril Velvet, I believe is the name. Thank you for tagging me. But you just so happened, old Kenny Poo was on the beat way ahead of you. So... although you're the one who brought my attention to the story. But it just so happened Ken was on it too. So he covered this. It says, cover up fertility clinic bomber's alleged accomplice dies in custody. So the truth about the May 17th bombing of a fertility clinic in California may never be known now that the bomber's alleged accomplice has died in federal custody just weeks after his arrest. Prison officials said Tuesday that Daniel Park, 32, was found unresponsive in Metropolitan Detention Center in L.A. Tuesday morning and was pronounced dead at the hospital. No cause of death was provided. Here's, you guys can see here in the photo, here's the one guy on the left who was the one who did it, who was the actual bomber, and the guy on the right here is Daniel Park, who's the man accused of aiding it. Park of suburban Seattle was accused of supplying chemicals to Guy Edward Bartkus of California, the bomber who died in the May 17th explosion. So he provided the chemicals. The sudden death further obscures an already murky case in which the FBI was reportedly seen in the bomber's neighborhood ahead of the attack. At the FBI's press conference on May 19th, a reporter from the area's local news channel 3 asked about the matter. The press conference was shut down immediately after his question. It says, we had a reporter on scene on the 29 Palms area yesterday, and the community members are telling her that there was an FBI presence there in the days leading up to that. Can you confirm that? The reporter asked. I cannot, responded Akil Davis, the assistant director in charge of the FBI's LA office. Another FBI official piped in, ending the conference just as Davis was about to take another question. Okay, folks, we're done here. He shares a tweet from Booty here. You can go watch that video of it if you want to. Park and Bartkus allegedly connected in fringe online forums over their shared beliefs against human procreation, authorities told reporters Wednesday. The blast gutted the fertility clinic in Palm Springs and shattered the windows of nearby buildings, with officials calling the attack terrorism and possibly the largest bomb scene ever in Southern California. The clinic was closed and no embryos were damaged. Park shipped 180 pounds of ammonium nitrate to Bartkus in January. Holy shit. And bought another 90 pounds and had it shipped to him days before the explosion, authorities said. Okay. Park purchased ammonium nitrate online in several transactions between October 2022 and May 2025, according to a federal complaint. All right. 3 days before Park visited him in January, Bartkus asked an AI chat application about explosives, detonation velocity, diesel, and gasoline mixtures. Is that what we're doing with AI now? The complaint said the discussion centered on how to create the most powerful blast. Authorities said Park traveled to California to experiment with them in the bomber's garage months before the attack. Park was taken into custody at the New York's JFK airport after he was extradited from Poland, where he fled to 4 days after the attack. Park had been charged with providing and attempting to provide material support to terrorists. Well, so they got the guy that got away, and then he died. So I don't know. Maybe more to come on this one. A little shady. All right, let's roll through the chat real quick, and then we'll get into the next story. Mike MCA says, I would bet it was their objective to create more radical, more fervent anti-Israel, anti-American regime in Iran that don't want them to accept Israel or America. Perhaps. I mean, they want the war, so, I mean, the idea of like them, peacefully, the whole, doing like a bottom up, like some sort of seamless revolution. No, they don't want that. They want chaos. So, yeah. The history of the CIA is basically a history of the deep state and the crime syndicates. Yep, and then also the private sector. Man, YouTube chat's okay, censoring everything I type. That's why you need to go over to Rumble, rumble.com. It doesn't censor your bullshit. You guys can even send links in there, because I know that's the big annoying thing, especially this show. I do like you guys to be able to send links and stuff even in the chat, but YouTube doesn't let you do that. But if you go over to Rumble, you can. So if you do have like, check out this link or that article or whatever, when we're talking about things, can't do it on YouTube, can do it on Rumble. So go on over to Rumble. What do atheists think a real Christian is? Please enlighten us, JMS. Are you guys arguing about Christianity now? Okay. That's a no true Scotsman fallacy is what that's called. I don't even know what you guys are arguing about, but the idea of a real Christian, because any Christian is going to define themselves as a real Christian, obviously. All right, let's scroll into the next one. All right, is Laura Loomer even a J? What do you guys think? Apparently, according to Milo, there's some stuff to say otherwise. Let's go ahead and watch this, see what this guy has to say.
My name is Paul Bazile. I am a video producer, and I worked with Laura Loomer around about 2017 when she was at Rebel, very briefly. I booked the March Against Sharia Law for her, where she was to give a speech. Had to talk the organizers off the ceiling when she asked, in lieu of a speech, if she could burn a Quran. They told her no, that wasn't the message we were going to send. And then I actually placed a Star of David necklace on her neck that she bought from Amazon. She took it out of a little plastic Ziploc baggie and was snickering to me as she was telling me how she's not really Jewish and she doesn't really have any religion in particular. but her dad is part Jewish, and she's going to lean into the Jewish thing so she could go hard about Muslims when she's on stage for the March Against Sharia Law. She's continued to claim to be Jewish since that has happened, and I did not work for her after that day, because after 20 hours, I believe she paid me $50 and promised to get me a job with Rebel, which never happened.
Which, by the way, I don't really like to get into the drama and the ins and outs of like influencers, and really, for one, this is just interesting because it's like, what the fuck? But what was I talking about? The like the not paying him or just some of the shitty things. I've heard lots. There's been lots of. While I do stay away from the drama stuff, I see lots of drama and the stuff that comes from the Loomer sphere and the claims of some of the things from people that she's supposedly done to other people. And yeah, I think the crazy shit she says online, all the things about like, people have pointed out the tweets about her saying like, oh, it should be nuked and, fuck these Palestinian kids or whatever, all the different crazy shit she said. It's like she genuinely, I think, is just that bad of a person is the impression I'm getting from all the different people I've seen and the people she's fucked over and, people that claim to be friends that she screwed over and shit. Like, she just strikes me as just a bad person. So, I don't know, I guess I'm not surprised that she perhaps is faking the whole J thing. I find that interesting. I guess her dad is Jewish is what they said, though. But here's the thing. The Jews don't accept it unless your mom is Jewish. And even then, I think they're squirrely about it and they prefer purebloods, I think. So, although, let's be real, what are the purebloods? It just means they're, you could go full Khazarian, but point being is those motherfuckers are not not the genetic descendants of the tribes of Israel. That's fucking retarded. But yeah, she ain't a Jew is, I guess, the consensus here. Now, let's keep in mind to bear in mind the messenger. This is Milo. Let's read what he says. He says, video producer Paul Bazile was there the day Loomer decided she was Jewish in June of 2017. She was 24. She knew nothing about Judaism, and her mother was a British-born Christian. But she had an ace up her sleeve, a $30 Star of David necklace from Amazon. So, not Jewish. But I did think, like I said, with the messenger, I don't know. I'm still torn on Milo. Milo strikes me as a little bit sketchy. I just thought this would be an interesting time to point out this interaction that I saw a while ago that I've had saved for a while. And just, I don't know, I figured at some point I'd bring it up. Well, not a while, because it's only been like maybe a week. But I assumed at some point this bookmark would make sense. And here we are. So this is from Booty. I guess this is in June 19th. He posted, Milo is the only person Peter Thiel follows on Twitter. And then obviously, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. So here's a follow. He says a screenshot, Peter Thiel following Milo. Okay, sure, maybe, just maybe, I don't know. Maybe Booty's a big fucking liar and he found some other Peter Thiel somewhere who just happens, so that way he get that. Or maybe this is some sort of fake. Doubt it. I think this is probably real. I don't know why Booty would lie. But the reason why I say that is because getting ahead of myself. In the next tweet, he unfollowed, so there's no proof of it anymore. Let me go. There's this. He also shared this excerpt too, where Peter invited Milo for a private dinner after clips leaked of him throwing a Nazi salute and talking about how it's okay to fuck boys. Another time, Thiel had Kevin Deanna over, who previously dubbed the creation of an ethno-state the great dream of the white republic. Now, I will say, I know a lot of lefties do like to shit on Milo, and they always bring up the kid fucking thing. I don't have they don't have the video or whatever up right now, so I forget the specifics, but from my recollection, it was a super sketchy statement, but the context where he was, I believe, I want to say it was like the Rogan thing, because a lot of people always point to the thing where he got like canceled, I guess you could say, where essentially he admitted to basically being molested as a child, but then he like frames it in like, I don't feel bad, and it was like, even like, I feel like I was the predator there, and then like, so I think it's like debatable whether you could like, I don't think he was directly asked, do you think it's okay for adult men to have sex with, young boys or something? Like, but so it's not as straightforward as it's usually framed. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's another clip somewhere out there that's like very straightforward. I don't fucking know. But it is definitely a statement that you're like, not great. Wasn't a great statement. But the context here is he's literally talking about his own victimization. He's just saying, I didn't see myself as a victim. which I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't know. It always struck me as weird. It almost seemed like people wanted him to be like, you feel like he's a victim. Obviously, I think he's a victim, but it's like, I don't know. It's a weird scenario we're talking about. But there is something to the fact of victims becoming victimizers. Not that I'm saying Milo's doing anything to that now, but it is a little bit weird that fucking that Teal was the only follow Teal has. And then we have here, like I said, he says, Teal has unfollowed Milo in the day since I tweeted that, so which makes it even weirder. So you have Booty. It looks like implies people are following, saw that he tweeted about it and somehow followed up on it. Then you have Hotstar, who is the author of Eye of the Chicken Hawk, great book. He says, I don't get it. Why would a gay billionaire only be following a pederasty who openly advocated for pederasty? Or only be following a pederast? So, I just thought it was funny. It's like, hey, this is well, that doesn't necessarily mean things, but we are pattern recognizing individuals. And onto that, another bookmark I've had saved for a while that I knew would pay off. On that note, here's Jason Bassler of the Free Thought Project. And he shared an excerpt here. It says, Epstein's calendar contained multiple meetings with Peter Thiel, which I know we've covered this multiple times, but, hey, here's another one, too, that I know there was that, I forget, was it the Valar Ventures thing he had? That I believe was the Teal capital venture type thing. That it was it was the Epstein thing that was investing into Teal. And so I think they've put in $40 million. They've gotten like $160 million out of it. So it's literally the Epstein network is literally still riding high on the hog off the economic profits of Peter Thiel. But here's more. Epstein calendar containing multiple meetings. So, because they kind of played a little fast and loose with all that. A review of Epstein's personal calendar by the Wall Street Journal found that the disgraced financier had arranged meetings with a tech billionaire, among others. So yeah, Bassler says, when we said Epstein's friends were building the surveillance state for your social credit score, we weren't lying to you, like Pam Bondi did. Now keep in mind how close these individuals, like Vance is basically Teal's acolyte, and so yeah, I don't know. It's a small, weird world we live in, for sure. All right, let's take a minute. Let's go through the chat, and let's see what you guys say. And then let's get into the MTG story, and then we'll keep it popping. Let's see what you guys say. Oh, I did it. I'm commenting. Queen Calnads. Hell yeah, you made it over from X over to YouTube. Maybe one of these days you'll even figure out Rumble. Good to have you here. And I hope you have fun in the chat. Make sure to hit that like button. Let's scroll through here. Rumble stops when you're saying the N-word in the chat. Okay, Rumble is far more lets you get away with stuff. There's some things it's weird about, but even then you can just change away with one letter and get away with it, I think. Scrolling through. Someone saying Massey's getting got soon. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how Massey does. I mean, he's pretty going hard. He's been going hard as shit, so we'll see. Massey is so hot right now. No homo. I didn't notice he had an interview with Theo Vaughn that I've watched most of recently. I looked at it and I'm not gonna lie, the thought crossed my mind. I literally said in my head, no homo. I even said the no homo. Go, Massey's looking pretty goddamn good. And it was kind of that like, it's kind of weird how dudes can just like do that. Because like, look at Massey from like back in the day. Dude was a fucking dork. Like, he's still a dork in his heart, but like, now he's like a stud dork. Like, he's a stud, man. I don't know, men really do come into our own as we get older, don't we? I'm sorry, ladies. You can't beat us. It is what it is. You guys need to get your shit in quick. You guys need to fucking just like dive bombers. Go in there, find a good man. Like, because like men's value just keeps on. As long as we don't just destroy ourselves and just completely just stay working on self-improvement, we just keep going up. Women, like there is a wall. So, but you guys start way up. So it's like that's why you got to just like from the jump be like, fucking be ready, scanning, looking at your options. Be like, I got limited time. Let's do this. Find a good man that's gonna that is on that upward trajectory. That's what you gotta do. I'm giving out lady stuff right here now. Tom says Milo fucks kids, but he's not blackmailed about it. Yeah. Scrolling through some more. I bet Pure Teal and Milo are fags together. Milo probably followed himself on Peter's phone after their gay stuff. Yeah. I think he just took the glasses and doesn't. I think he just took off the glasses and doesn't comb his hair. Pretty impressive glow up, though. Yeah, for real, right? It's the beard and the old man strength, is what Hustles has to say. Yep. So yeah, no, he's a. Someone said he's single again. He's on the prowl. That's not cool, man. I highly doubt he has time for romantic ventures. He's got way too much other shit going on. All right, let's jump into Marjorie Greene being absolutely based as fuck. Here is a tweet she put out recently. It says, this is extremely, and this is responding to Levin having some sort of freak out, which who cares? I'm not even going to read that. But she goes, this is extremely sick and disturbing. Please read to the end. Mark, you have the exact same tone and language the psychopaths use that send me death threats every single day. You should be fired from Fox News. And shame on Fox if they condone this. Let me introduce you to my friend Jesus. He says, blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God. Jesus is the Messiah. Jesus is the one and only Son of God. Jesus was put to death on a Roman cross and died as a one-time sacrifice for our sins. Jesus is the Lamb of God. You can read about Jesus in Isaiah 53, 5-2, or 5-12. God. Jesus will return one day, and those that did not recognize him will mourn. He will bring everlasting peace to all the earth, and his kingdom will have no end. Jesus also says, pray for your enemies. I will do my best to pray for you, but I will be watchful now. There was once a great president that the American people loved. He opposed Israel's nuclear program, and then he was assassinated. It says, I am for peace. I oppose war, including wars Israel wages. Should I feel that my life is in danger now too? What about President Trump, who strongly rebuked Israel this morning for continued attack Iran? So, holy shit, base queen, going hard as fuck. It's actually kind of funny. I put we have the other thing to go through. I like jokingly put in the title here, or put MTG goes JQ on JFK, like JQ Jewish quiz question. Like, my audience probably mostly knows this, but obviously that's like an anti-Semitic trope of like, oh, all Jews this or that, like exploring the Jewish problem as if there is like literally an ingrained problem with Jews, which depending on the context of what you mean, I may or may not agree with you there. But generally speaking, it does mean some crazy shit. So it is like saying that it was like when I made that, it was like, this does sound like I'm like trying to be like, oh my God, she's going on the JQ. She's going crazy. But I was kind of like being ironic. But the funny thing is, as I'd already made that, and then I found after, which we'll get into a second, some pearl clutching of that part. So I just thought it was just kind of perfect how that just kind of fell in line. But figure we take this time to kind of maybe dig into maybe how there's something to that. Like someone replied here, September 2009, Muammar Gaddafi, and then president of Libya, accused Israel of killing the 35th president of USA, JFK, for opposing Israel's Dimona nuclear program in 1963. Gaddafi asked the UN to start an investigation. 18 months later, NATO began a military intervention against Libya, and Gaddafi was killed. MTG might have got her idea that JFK was assassinated by Israel from Gaddafi's speech. And I know this is one that goes around a lot. By the way, let me know if there's anyone you guys know of who actually does do good coverage of the Israel angle of the JFK stuff, because that's one I've never really covered. So maybe one of these days I do need to dig into it just to kind of get a better grasp on it. Like, I have no idea if it's true. I know it's a lot of people lean into. It seems to be the reliable sources I know of seem to be like, maybe, but it's like, it's kind of tenuous, is my understanding. So, like, I don't know. I know everyone likes to act like it's super, like, resolute, and trust me, wouldn't be surprised at all. Like, trust me. I know what Israel be doing and the shit they be doing. So, like, I know the idea that, like, I would be like, oh, there's no way they did this. No, of course, I don't know. I have no qualms with the idea that Israel may have killed JFK. If anything, it seems a pretty plausible explanation. Now, I just wouldn't be surprised if it was instead maybe the CIA or a combination or something instead. So, I don't know. My point being is I have no idea to what degree the whole nuclear shenanigans played in. But either way, this is what MTG is saying now. This is what Gaddafi has said in the past. There is truth to the fact of, like, their secret nuclear program, and there was stuff going on at that time. So, I mean, there's also other coincidences with JFK. I mean, like a lot of people like to point out Northwoods. I believe it was around the time he died too. He exposed Northwoods. He essentially, freaked the fuck out on his Joint Chiefs of Staff, and it was like, you were trying to do what? Fired Lemitzer, who then went over to Europe and became part of NATO over there. and almost certainly was the one presiding over Gladio, which was essentially just Northwoods carried out over in Europe. So, point being is it's like that also, the whole like firing Lemitzer and like, not allowing Northwoods or theoretically not allowing Northwoods. I mean, I don't know. Let's be real. We've probably gotten false flags. I don't know. That could have had a part to do it. There's many explanations. So I'm just not sold completely on the Israel angle, but that is, when you hear people saying, you're like, okay, based. So here we go. Let's play this. If it'll ever let me. Looks like it's glitching. Well, never mind. I guess just take my word that Gaddafi said that. I don't know why it's all of a sudden not wanting to play the video. I don't know, whatever. Twitter's video player has been weird today. Oh, here we go. All right. All right, let me see. Here we go. The UN General Assembly should start an investigation into the assassination of U.S. President Kennedy. This is Gaddafi. We know that he was killed by one Lee Harvey. Then came one Jack Ruby and killed Lee Harvey, Kennedy's killer. Why did he kill him? Jack Ruby was an Israeli who killed Lee Harvey, Kennedy's killer. Yeah, that's correct. Why would this Israeli kill Kennedy's killer? Now, I don't know if he's Israeli, to be fair. I know he's Jewish. I don't know if he's Israeli. I guess I don't know that for sure. Maybe you guys in the chat. Let me know if he was for sure like a dual citizen. I don't know. Then Jack Ruby, the killer of Kennedy's killer, died in mysterious circumstances before his retrial. Why? Open the files. What I know and what we were taught in history class is that Kennedy had decided to hold an inspection of the Israel Dibona nuclear plant to find out where there were nuclear bombs there, whether there were nuclear bombs there. This is why they got rid of him. Yeah. So, all right, let's, and then on the, as I said, the pearl clutching, I thought this was particularly funny. Let's watch this together. Here is Representative Jared Moskowitz rages about the woke right at a House hearing on anti-Semitism. So let's watch this.
Thing that is uniting the left and the right, and that is Jews. This is not just a problem on the left. Look what's going on social media on the woke right. It isn't just some Nazis in a basement anymore. Okay? Marjorie Taylor Greene is holding up the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act because she wants to be able to say that Jews killed Jesus. So this is a problem in both of our houses, and pretending it is not.
So he's saying because that she's pushing back against an anti-Semitism bill, it's because she wants to be able to say that Jews killed Jesus. All right.
Is one of the reasons why we're not cleaning it up, because we're just saying, oh, you over there or you over there. This is not going well for Jews right now, and it isn't getting better. By the way, we have not yet peaked.
I agree.
To where this is going to go. And yeah, we can talk about the legacy media all day long, Mr. Schneider, but that's not where we're losing the youth of this country. We're losing them on TikTok, which is owned by a foreign country that the president now has extended beyond what the law has allowed.
Yeah, because they're showing the rampant murder of innocents. But let's go on.
I don't want TikTok to go away, but I want it to get out of the hands of the Chinese. Okay? They are doing the Nazi playbook. They are dividing us. They are
the Nazi playbook of showing people when you murder innocents in mass.
They don't need to do it with B-2 bombers. That's not what the Chinese plan is. The Chinese is to get us to fighting amongst ourselves. The Chinese plan is to get us angry and divisive. And the Chinese plan is to start with the easiest target possible, and that is us. And so until we stop doing this, who did what to who stuff, okay, we're not going to solve this. Jews are losing their usual allies, those allies that we've had for decades and decades and decades, groups that Jews have stood up for. We're losing them by the moment, especially amongst young people. So, I'm called a foreign asset, right?
Probably
I'm a foreign lobbyist.
Probably are.
I mean, it's just endless. Go look any post I put up, the hatred, the vitriol that's going on. And so I appreciate this hearing, Mr. Chairman, but this hearing ain't going to fix shit. Okay? This is a virus that is spreading. And until we're serious about stopping what's going on online and the brainwashing of our kids, this is going to get worse, and more people are going to die in this country, and it is going to be us.
All right, if you guys could do me a favor, if any of you are on Twitter right now, I'm not saying go out of your way to do this, because that'd just be weird, but if you're on Twitter, just go look up Jared Moskowitz, Moskowitz, and just find his latest post and just say fag, or queer, or just anything along those lines. It clearly bothers him, and I find joy in that. So let's watch the more. Here's more from him. Let's watch this.
What you saw, okay, what you saw okay, in this strike in Iran, if you look at social media, I want you to understand that there are a lot of people on the woke right that it turned out they hated Jews more than they liked the president, and they picked a side. That's how much they hated Jews.
Oh, wow. I don't really, wow. I guess I should have seen that framing. That is wow. That's a good one. That's actually really solid. Expect to see that one. That's a gold right there. I mean, it's stupid. It's stupid shit. Like anyone who's not like a retard, but like they hate Jews more than they like the president. That's a solid one for like I know we kind of the theme with the smug cunts of like, oh, you didn't trust the plan or you didn't want to murder people. That's going to be the line. That's a good line. Obviously, like not good in the like based in truth or anything. But so far as like propaganda that you can spread and dumb people will buy onto it and just copy and paste. Perfect. Nails it. Watch out for that one. That's a good one. I like it. I almost have some respect for it. But let's keep going.
And it is people. Yes, there's all sorts of bots on Twitter, but it is people with millions of followers. And they are brainwashing. And so
see how they do both. Isn't it funny how they do both? Oh, they're these huge influencers, but also it's inorganic and fake. Like, okay, well, which is it? Which is it?
Now it's happening on both sides. Okay? And you know what's happening? It's coming like this. It starts over here, and then it goes, and then it goes, and then you have consensus. And that's where we're headed. And so,
yeah, buddy. Yeah, we are.
So I'm not debating with you that you're not correct, but I want you to open your mind to understanding that this is a problem everywhere now. I'll yield back.
All right. Well, that was super gay. And then it was funny. The person who made this post said it's real, and literally Jared Moskowitz reposted. I guess thinking that this wasn't. I think the guy who posted this clearly was like, "Wow, what a joke." I mean, like. He just said it matter-of-factly, but I guess Moskowitz thought this was a good look because he literally retweeted it. And I don't know, maybe he didn't have social awareness that, like, no, this is like you look dumb and we're making fun of you. So, I don't know. Yeah, kind of wild. But I don't know. I think that maybe there's something to be learned from there. I think that's I don't know. That's where they're going to, that's the angle. That's the angle. So, all right, let's roll through the chat. Jewish mafia killed Oswald. Cuban sharpshooters shot JFK. Yep. JFK was killed by the usual suspects. It doesn't really matter which ones at this point. Exactly. He did piss them all off, is what Dr. Ray is saying about that. Yep. So, Laura Mile recent interviews with Taliban about Hitler and Mein Kampf was pretty base. I didn't know he was doing interviews with them. Those sound pretty dope. Lee Harvey didn't kill JFK, but he knew who his handlers were that set him up. Probably, yeah. I think my thought is he likely had something to do with it, but he wasn't like the shooter. Definitely not the only guy, for sure. You said, here you go. I cannot fucking believe that they're using woke right unironically. So fucking cringe. Yeah, it's really gay. But hey, they're going with it. Whatever. We'll see where that gets them. That's been working so well for them right so far. So, Florida is a breeding ground for Jewish members of Congress. You're not wrong. It's getting a little Jewy here. I need to get out of here for sure. All right, let's get into this one. And this is all right, here's a story that's been making the rounds recently. I figure we cover this. I will just go ahead and let you warn you ahead of time. This is pretty fucking hard to watch, to be honest. This is super fucked up, but I'll let you know what happens so you guys can choose if you want to watch. This is a 2-year-old being literally thrown to a concrete or marble floor or epoxy or some sort of hard floor by an adult male. Yeah, this happened, I guess, in Russia. We'll get more into the details, but it's looking like maybe there might be more to this. It might connect into a lot of things we've been talking about. I don't want to watch this again, but just so you guys know, as you can see, this has been making the rounds. Yep, just chucked a fucking child on the ground. And then here he is, acting weird. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. The person runs to help the kid. Yeah, and I don't know what he's doing. If he just thought he was about to get attacked, maybe he laid down. Now he's running away. And here's just the cops having him. So, I mean, that's all there is to it. But I don't know. Did he say anything here? Might be in Russian anyway, so I'm building it out. All right. Yeah. So that's a wild story. Here we go from news.com-au. This is an 18-month toddler has been left in a coma and fighting for life after being hurled into the ground by crazed tourists at a Russian airport. Disturbing CCTV footage captured the moment. The attacker glanced in different directions to check if anyone was watching before grabbing the child who's helplessly stood with his tiny suitcase. I mean, looking fucking cute, like adorable, like he's waiting for his mom somewhere, which I think he was. Is what I've read. The crazed attacker then picks up the boy and slams him to the ground with sickening force. A bystander can be seen rushing the scene and scooping up the gravely wounded boy. The little boy's pregnant mother had left him for just a moment as she collected the pushchair after their flight's arrival. It is understood the boy and his mother had arrived in Russia after fleeing Iran amid ongoing conflict. Russian sources identified the Vladimir Vitkov from Belarus, who had just arrived in the country. Police are examining if there was a racist or other motivation for the act against the child. His family had reportedly fled Iran via a tortuous route through Afghanistan and had just arrived in Russia. The suspect had reportedly flown to Moscow from Cyprus or Egypt. So the suspect, the person who did it, had flown from Cyprus or Egypt. The people, I believe, had come from Afghanistan, and they were there before. So I'm seeing mixed reports about whether they were Afghanis or whether they were from Iran. So, I mean, the claim here is that there were reports saying from, but either way, one came from Afghanistan, this other one came from Cyprus or Egypt. The suspect, he was reportedly taken into custody after the incident amid suspicions he was under the influence of drugs. I don't know if they get into this article, but they do find cannabis in the system, and some people are making something of that. I don't know. I've been very, very high many, many times in my life on marijuana. I've never once been like, yo, I want to throw a child to the ground. If anything, I don't know. I'm much more loving and more like, I don't know. When I'm stoned is when I sit there and think about, oh, I remember when my babies were little and they were so cute and they used to cuddle me on the couch and used to, I don't know, fall asleep in my arms. Like those are the sort of thoughts I have when I'm stoned. Not oh, see that baby? I should just sling him to the fucking ground. I don't know. That's just pure evil. So, yeah, a Moscow's region's children's ombudsman woman Ksenia Mishonova said, a drug-addled monster grabbed a toddler in the arrivals hall and threw him on the floor with all his might. Like I said, all I'm aware of is cannabis, so maybe there's more. I mean, they're saying cannabinoids. Or like, I don't even know how you could even. I mean, the highest I've ever been in my life, I accidentally. It was actually a pretty funny story. My wife made made weed cookies once. It is like because she's got a medical marijuana because she actually like it legitimately helps for her seizures. It literally helps. Like when she runs out, like we actually notice an increase in seizures. But anyways, one time she's for fun got the stuff that you can like the stuff you can put to bake or whatever in, and she made some cookies and then she went to work and then she like told me, she was like, hey, here's the cookies, and she had said something about like that there was like God, what did I forget? I misunderstood her. She said that there were like I think that the cookies had like 10 milligrams each. But for some reason, no, maybe it was something ridiculous. But essentially, I ate all the cookies. Like I misunderstood what she said because I thought she said there was like a certain amount in all the cookies, and then I was retarded and I misunderstood what she said, and I ended up eating all the cookies, thinking there wasn't that much in each one of them. Come to find out, she had actually put like a substantial amount in all of them, and I had something like well over 100 milligrams or something crazy, and it all hit me at once. And I remember I was just walking to the hallway. And then I just kind of like slow-mo, just and just kind of like shut down and just kind of just laid on the floor just in the middle of my house. Just kind of, I'm going to sleep now. That's all that it was. So like, definitely didn't murder any children. So yeah, all this is incredibly difficult to bear. I hope the detained monster will receive the full severity of the law. I wish the child a speedy recovery. May the parents have the strength to survive this. Traces of cannabis were found in the suspect's blood, according to reports citing the Russian Investigative Committee. So he's described as incapable of explaining his actions. When asked by officers if he had been in trouble with the police before he replied, "I made mistakes like that." Okay. Vikov reportedly has a daughter the same age as Jesus Christ, as a boy thrown to the ground while a female friend of his was in shock from the alleged actions. The suspect is under investigation for attempted murder. The committee said a man, while in the airport arrivals area in a state of drug intoxication, they keep leaning heavily on this drug intoxication, which is like, you need to give me more than weed here, grabbed a child and lifting him, threw him to the floor with a considerable force. Like, I do know that I guess it is a thing that, like, I don't know, I guess to some extent take people's word for it. They always say that, like, the one thing they say that, like, weed can not help, but make more likely to have psychotic breaks. I don't know if that's true. I mean, I doubt it. I doubt that that's what we're seeing here. I mean, I'm not saying I doubt that it's possible. I guess it could be. I mean, I don't know. I find it to be a very rare thing that people point to as like, oh, here's why weed. And like, it seems pretty weak to me. I've never, ever known of anyone, and I feel like I've known of people who said they knew some guy, but it was always just like, oh yeah, I knew some guy who knew some guy. Sure, okay. And it just sounds like some made up, stories. The boy was hospitalized in a medical facility for assistance. The man's criminal actions were stopped by eyewitnesses of the incidents. I mean, it was already done at that point. All right, that's all there is to that story. Well, at least the article. Now, kind of what I was getting at. Now, here is where it gets a little bit more into the realm of things we were talking about. This is from Megatron. So, this is one of these anti-Zionist voice, and so there immediately are people saying, "Oh, this is bullshit." And so he says, breaking, a Jewish Belarusian man, Vladimir Vitkov, was the man who violently assaulted an 18-month-old Iranian toddler at Moscow's Sheremetyevo, oh man, I nailed that one, airport, slamming into him headfirst into the floor. So Jewish. Now, I don't know how true that is. I mean, there's everyone saying, now there's immediately everyone saying it's not true. I've seen some report. I mean, heard one of my buddies I was talking to who does shows and stuff too. He was saying he saw reporting, but he couldn't find the thing anymore about the Jewish thing. So I don't know. I have no idea if it's true. Although, unfortunately, if you understand the ideology at play here, it makes sense. God, what was it? I don't know if we ever played it in this show, but this is like early in the war stuff. There were, all these videos of like literal Jewish people making arguments for why all the stuff in Gaza is okay, and they would refer to specific verses about dashing. Was it the Amaleks, dashing Amalek's kids against rocks and stuff like that. So. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's truth to Jewish, but that is a thing being thrown out there. Obviously, immediately all the anti-Zionists or the Zionist voices are in here saying otherwise. But, and they're, he came from Cyprus or Egypt. But it's like, if you're in Cyprus or Egypt, people are fleeing Israel through Cyprus and Egypt. So, there's a possibility this literally may be an Israeli and an Iranian that we are witnessing here. Which unfortunately would kind of make this situation make a little bit more sense. So... yeah, so I don't know if maybe more will come on that. If this doesn't end up being the case, if there is further confirmation, I'll keep an eye out. So I'm hearing that is the case, but it's a little bit dubious. So, all right, let's go to this last one, and then we'll roll for the chat and get out of here. One of you guys shared this with me. Apparently, RFK says some weird stuff, so let's hear what he has to say here.
Diet, about their physical activity, about the way that they live their lives. We think that wearables are a key to the MAHA agenda, making America healthy again. And we are going to, my vision is that every American is wearing a wearable within 4 years.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
All right, I've seen other people, I saw other stuff about this too, about these wearables. So Stephen look, hey, Grok, what is he talking about? The old reliable, hey, Grok, in every reply on Twitter. Someone saying RFK Jr. is referring to his Make America Healthy Again agenda, which aims to improve public health. He envisions every America using wearable devices like smartwatches or fitness trackers within 4 years to monitor health metrics such as diet and activity. The goal is to promote healthier lifestyles and manage chronic diseases. However, concerns can exist about privacy risks as wearables can collect sensitive data and accessibility issues since not everyone can afford them. Effectiveness in changing health behavior is also debated with limited long-term evidence. Yeah, I mean, there's two things to look at. Obviously, a lot of people are pointing out the wearables transmit data, so you're literally putting data devices on every American. I would also point to, too, This is like, I'd say, you know, these little Fitbits and those faggoty little things a lot of people you have, I know might offend some people, but this is like the equivalent of like Diet Coke. It's like what was the famous Trump tweet? Like, I've never seen a skinny person drinking Diet Coke. It's like, if you're the kind of person, I don't know, maybe there's some offended people who drink soda. It's just generally not a good behavior. You should just stop drinking soda. So the idea that you're like, oh, I'm going to do Diet Coke. Obviously, this isn't a great one for one. But my point being is it's like, it's kind of pointless. Like, you know, if you're working out, if you're being healthy, do you really fucking need oh, look, I did 3,700 steps today. Oh my God, I'm going to do 200 more tomorrow. No, you know what you're doing. This is just, if anything, I feel like it's like a gay little shtick that people do in order to tell themselves they're going to be healthy. Just fucking do it. So, I don't know. I'm also the guy who doesn't like tech stuff. This seems really gay to me. So, but yes, there's also the technocracy side of this. It's like, so one, it's stupid. I think Fitbits are dumb. Like this whole idea of like, oh, we're going to get every American to have this, somehow going to make it better. Like, okay, sure. Congrats. You might get your fucking dependopotamus fucking, you know, mother-in-law to fucking, I don't know, get off the couch a couple times. I'm sure. Maybe, okay, I guess to be fair, there's some probably helpful components. But generally speaking, it's a waste. And then obviously the implication here is almost like, I mean, obviously they're probably going to imply that like we're going to try to, you know, encourage it, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of like Obama phone component here of like, oh, we'll help everybody get these. These are affordable. So yeah, I don't know. The implication is if we're going to try to get these, it's dumb. It's nothingness. But there's also the freaky side of this of like, oh, we're just going to convince a bunch of stupid fucking fat Americans you're going to get healthy if you put this data collection device on your wrist. And so now you have a bunch of fat retards that are just walking around and giving intel to the intelligence agencies every fucking day. So yeah, it's just stupid all around. It's just like, I don't know. There's many things you could be doing. It's just, the whole like stay out of our health. This is kind of thing. Like fuck off. I don't know. Just yeah. All right, let's roll the chat and then let's get on out of here and yeah, see what you guys got to say. All right. See, someone says, please don't play this. Yeah. So I warned you, so you could fast forward. I'm sorry. Don't watch this. Yeah. See, sorry. It is what it is. Super fucked up video. I was not happy to watch. So I'd pull someone apart. If I saw them do this, I would channel my inner chimpanzee. Yeah. Now I don't know if you watch that video, which hard to watch. That guy, the one dude who comes in to help, you could just. I mean, it's a security video, so it's kind of hard to tell, but like you can just see the like. I mean, he did the right thing in that, like, he then, you know, deferred to caring for the child because obviously that's the productive thing to do, like doing some sort of violence upon him or something. I mean, yeah, you can make an argument for being productive, but it's obviously helping the injured human beings far more productive. So he did the right thing, but you could just see in his, like, the way he moved. I don't know. I could see it, like, what the fuck? That, like, I would love to beat the fuck out of this dude. But no, got to grab this kid, got to get out of here, got to get help. So good on the people that reacted, but man, yeah, it is like you really, I don't know, you would have liked to have seen stuff happen, but I think everyone did the right thing and they were focused on the child is what it seemed like to me. So, you know, Afghani is what they're saying. So I don't know that they came from Afghanistan. Now, is it a Afghani? I don't know. Either way, we'll see. So let's keep going. You guys are talking about the councils of Nicaea in there, which I believe is what they came down to, where certain books got thrown out and in. I don't know. I never got into that. And that's where you get into the weeds of biblical arguments. Someone says, I did the too many cookie thing once. It was dope, man, but it was not dope. I hated it. I was like still high the next day. It was not fun. And it was just like, I just like for like probably a good 8 hours, just catatonic on my fucking floor. Scrolling through. The worst thing I did was eat a bunch of chocolate chip cookies and get bad indigestion. Yeah. Yeah, too much edibles is a classic. Yeah, it was just that I misunderstood my wife and thought that she had put like way less than she put in, and I took like a goddamn heroic dose of marijuana essentially. All right, scrolling through. Yeah, I've been way worse drinking. I remember missing the last ferry one time to get back to my side from Seattle and slept with the bums in the steps. Yeah. We've all have our crazy stories, don't we? Yeah, I don't end up with like degenerate crazy stories from weed. So that's like, it's weird. As a stoner, I'll fully admit that it's technically possible to cause a psychotic break with weed, but really only if it's already under the surface waiting. I've never actually heard of any actual stories of it, though. Yeah, that's kind of where I am, too. Like, I am like, I guess, sure, I can understand how that could be a thing if you had a fucked up head already. But it's like, and then like, so far as hearing about it, it's like, I feel like I vaguely recall people that I probably, when I was like, a kid had smoked weed or something, where they're like, oh yeah, I remember this one guy that someone told me. But like, so like, there are grapevine stories that I know of, but I don't really know of any. So it's Jesuits too, Jose, says Gerald Hard. The Jesuit oath has smashing kids' heads on. Oh shit. Okay, well I'm going to look into that. Dr. SF smoked weed for almost 25 years. I've never met anyone who went crazy from weed. They were all on other drugs. Yeah, I mean, I find it unbelievable, but I guess it could be the thing. I know, it's one of those things that like, sure, I don't know. It's kind of like me saying it's not possible would be like, it's just like, I don't know. It's like, that's kind of unprovable. So sure. All right, let's scroll through. Other drugs are usually a culprit, says Tom33. Yep. So screw. Yeah, phone already does this. Says me and Eugene. Yeah, exactly. You can literally download apps for your steps and stuff on your phone. Although I will say, in defense of it, like I know when I go for a run, I've been going on runs almost every day lately. I don't take my phone with me. So I know a lot of people like music and stuff like that, but I don't like dealing with things moving around my pockets. I know you have like armbands, but I just want to be free. I just want to run. So but point being is if I had a thing on my wrist, that's far more convenient than any other configuration of using my phone. So I'd be down to wear one if your health is recorded and subsequently lowers your cost of health insurance. Yeah, Fitbits are gay as fuck, says Queen Calneds. Yes, exactly. I got 2K steps today. Wow, I exercise a lot. Exactly. This is what they do. Like, oh my god, I got 500 more than yesterday. You're like, whatever. Heart monitor is not a bad one. I will agree. Although you could just most if you go to a nice gym, pretty much most treadmills have that. So, and even then, I don't know. Come on, let's be real. You know, if you're pushing yourself, do you really need to fucking put your hands on a heart monitor and go, oh, yep, that's where my heart rate's at. So. I don't know. They seem to be leaning really heavy into this whole like futuristic fucking health shit. And it's like, at the end of the day, like, I mean, yeah, I get they're like, oh, we can look for this genetic, that. And you can get super in the weeds and nerd stuff. But at the end of the day, move weight up and down, make sad head noise go away, and make sure you be moving a lot. That's really all it comes down to. Everyone overcomplicates this. It's really all it comes down to. Just put in the fucking work. And, like, I don't know, all this other gay shit, you don't need it. I have a squat rack and I have some free weights, and that's it. That's all I have. I don't have a machine. I don't have a fucking machine. And this is from like working out since I was like 12. I've been in gyms. You don't need much. You really don't need much. You need an area to run if you want to do cardio, and for lifting, ideally, it'd be good to have a long bar and some sort of method of like, dumbbells and maybe a reliable squat rack. So it's a little bit expensive to have a good setup, but you can get everything you need for like, frankly, under $500 with probably like Craigslist or something. So, yeah. So let me scroll through. RFK is running gear. Yeah, probably. Although for someone running gear, his workouts were never that impressive. So, yeah, true. Just smoke meth is what they're saying. What about the roided liver guy that said he was going to unlive? Yeah, I haven't had a chance to look into that. I've heard Liver King's lost his mind and is trying to kill Rogan or something. Still high the next day is awful. Yeah, it's not fun. That was not a fun time. That was one of those ones where I'm like, I don't want anything to do with marijuana for a while. Gerald says, I'm on weed. My little brother had cannabis-infused psychosis, and that led to schizophrenia, but it was laced weed, or so his friend said. Yeah, I've had laced weed before that fucked with me when I was younger. That totally had something on it because I had an experience that did not at all match anything ever on weed. So it's like, yeah, I mean, there's definitely something to that I guess think people do lace it, although I don't really understand why people do it and why I ever received a laced one, but whatever. All right, scrolling through. Gyms are gay. So kind of. I mean, sort of. I mean, the gyms are helpful. I understand why some people do them, but I mean, you really, like I said, you don't really need a ton. So, best exercise plans to work for a living. You're not wrong. Just stay in the Florida sun. Yep, you're not wrong. Being a manual laborer most of my life has done a good job of keeping me in shape. Although it's fucked up my joints big time, that's for sure. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get out of here. It's been fun to. This felt like this. I like this today. Today was a nice one. It felt like we're kind of. I don't know. Felt like I was able to collect my breath. It's because like Jesus Christ, last 48 hours have been wild. So we're able to kind of. All right, here's where we're at. Here's where things are. Recollect our thoughts. All these stupid idiots are trying to be like, oh, you guys are so dumb. Look at you. Look how great Trump did. They're stupid. Don't forget that. Don't let them play that game with you. But with that, guys, we're going to go get out of here. Don't forget, stick around for our dope little outro as we've been doing these days lately. I forgot to do one recently. But yeah, with that, guys, if you want to support what I'm doing, make sure to leave a like, share, subscribe, comment, leave a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify. All those things go a long way. You can follow me on Twitter as well, at TowerGangJose. You guys are my eyes and ears out there for this very show. So, hey, if you want me to cover this or that, like, I'm only one guy. I have a wife. I have kids. Both of them have things they're doing. I have a full-time job. Well, I don't have a full-time. I have a part-time job. My wife has a full-time job. I have to drive her to and from. I do so I have our own, business with the cat. I have so much going on. I just physically cannot keep abreast of everything. That's actually part of why I do this show. This show is literally so I can stay abreast of all this stuff. We literally, most of the time, 90+% of stuff I cover in this show is not stuff I've like prepped per se. They're just literally, scattershot, bookmarked things. This is why this show is called a dump. It's an info dump. That's what we do here. We're creating a community of informed individuals. That's what we're doing here, and we're helping inform each other. So help inform me so I can help inform you. Tag me and stuff, especially if it's threads of things we've been following along on this show. Be on the lookout. I can't catch everything. I really do not spend that much time on Twitter. You guys are super clutch. So tag me on Twitter if you guys see stuff worth covering. I usually try to give you guys a shout out. I usually try to give you guys a follow if you regularly do it too. Because, let's be real. If you're the kind of guy, that's the kind of person I want to follow. People that are that are in this shit. Like, these are the kind of connections I want to make. So, hell yeah. But if you want to support this show with money, which I appreciate that, you can do that over at patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. The lowest level is $2. That's where you get access to early episodes. I've been doing 1 to 2 a week these days, and usually keeping around 4 behind the paywall on any given time. So you have weeks of paywall content. Like I said earlier, I have Dana Duda on tonight. Probably be talking about some process stuff. So it'll be a good time. You can watch it live if you're a patron, or at least early. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait weeks for that to come out. And also you can add free RSS feed at the $2 level, and you get access to the pre-show and priority for the call-ins on me and Austin's weekly live call-in show, which is already dead, which is on Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. I know it's not on Tuesday this week. It's on Thursday this week, so tomorrow, pop in. He was sick. I know, I explained. But yeah, if you want to get priority for that, for the calls, and to get pre-show, be able to show up for that, patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. The highest level is my sponsors. I'll read them off every episode. Is a big thank you to them. I'm my co-host Entire Gang, at Learn to Toad, or previous co-host Entire Gang, at Abrogate D's, at ZOVRECK, at _Infizil, Tim Tuttle, at John Klebel, Will Bells, Delicious Blueberry Rabbit Eye Wine, Big Fan of the Show, Torrin May, and Jordan Peterson. And with that, guys, give me one second. Let me set up the outro. I should have had it set up. Once again, I'm but one man. Get me to the point where I can get some nerd to fucking hang out and be my producer for these, so he can stream through this shit. Help me pay some nerd to do this. But all right, we got it set up now. I've been doing especially tag me in these. I'm out of these Italo discos. I'm really digging these. This is like my vibe right now. And so this is if I could, I would do an outro of a different one of these every single time. But I'm out right now, so I'm sorry. We might get into some funny or more wholesome things like we were doing before, but either way, enjoy this little outro. I dig it. Deuces. JMS, call in tomorrow. Not call in, drop a super chat. Or you can call in, I already did.